it's Holly here from Your Past is a Gift. Now, today I wanted to continue on with the topic of I do care, okay? That this person is in my life and that I feel that they didn't love me the way I deserve to be loved, okay? I do care, it hurts that they've treated me, you know, in a way that's not a loving way, in a way that's not a supporting way, in a way that's not nurturing to my soul, that makes me feel valuable and important as a person, okay? Now, the last few nights, I've been watching all these documentaries and it's just blown my mind, because the more I focus on wanting to understand the world, the more things present themselves to me. And the last few nights, the videos or the documentaries we've been watching have been about pedophiles. Now, for the longest time, I had very strong judgments against pedophiles because I had such a beautiful childhood with my parents. You know, they were both very loving parents, very supporting parents, and especially my dad, that I always felt that I was completely accepted by him just the way I was, without having to do anything, without having to prove myself, without having to be anything but what I was. Okay, so I had that in my childhood, and I had a really happy childhood because of the love of my parents, you know. But I think of, you know, if I had my own children, and now I do, and what would I do? You know, if this happened to my child, you know, if she was sexually molested, how angry that would make me, you know, and I don't know what I'd do. I'd want to kill this person probably. You know, these were all the feelings that I had, you know, before, and especially when you have your children, you know, and you feel this way. But watching these documentaries and listening to these people, and you realize there's not one of these people that hasn't already been through that experience in their life. A pedophile does not come from a loving home. It does not come, you know, this person does not come from a home where he's supported and where he's treated, you know, with dignity and respect as a human being. You know, many times, and one of the things where the light bulb went off in my head was when one of the pedophiles was saying that he saw these children as objects of pleasure, as objects. He didn't realize at the time that they would grow up to have feelings and to be people just like him. You see, they don't see these children as people, you know, because they are people, they're little souls that are growing, you know, that need to be nurtured, that need to be loved, you know. And so this is the problem. But what many people don't understand, you see, if you've been through this situation, you have a real resentment towards your abuser. You know, this anger that they did this to you. They took away your innocence. They took away your dignity, your respect for yourself, you know, your value as a human being. You know, they've disrespected that you have value, that you are important, you're a valuable human being. And they've disrespected that. But most of the people will live with that. They will live with that anger, with that resentment, and they will only look at that side. They'll only look at this side of the event. They won't look at the fact that the person on this side, the abuser that's been doing this, they've been through this their whole childhood. So to them, this behavior is normal. They don't know that there's another way in the world of how people treat children. They don't know this because that's all they've known in their childhood. And so what happens is, when you've been treated a certain way over and over and over again, the brain gets wired a certain way and it looks at the world in a certain way. And so these people that become the abusers, they don't view children as a spirit. They don't view children that have a soul, that have feelings, they don't see them in that way. The same as people that abuse animals. They mistreat them. They do horrible things to animals. The same thing happens. They're not seeing that this creature has a soul, it has a spirit. They see it as an object. And the reactions that they get from this animal when they torture it or they do horrible things to it, they get pleasure out of that. Because somewhere along the line in their childhood, this is what they've grown up with. They've not been taught to, respect that every living thing has value. Every living thing has an energy, it has a spirit. It needs to be respected. So it's all to do with how you've grown up, what you've grown up with. And at the same time, it's up to you if you have grown up in an abusive environment, and this is the pattern that's been passed on for generation after generation after generation. It's up to you now to decide, are you going to continue that? Or are you going to start looking at how you felt? How did that make you feel as a child? To be used in that way, to be treated in that way. How did you feel as a child? Because you can decide today that you will never, ever, ever, ever do that to another child. You could never make another child feel that way because you know what it feels like. You see, the pain, the abuse, it can always stop with you. It's your choice. It's always been in your hands. You can choose to keep doing what you've grown up with. You can choose to keep doing that to others. You can choose to sit there and feel sorry for yourself that this has happened to you. Or you can choose today to look at that abuser and have compassion, and understand that they did the best they could do, given what they've lived so far. They didn't know any better. They didn't know how to change it and turn it around for them. It doesn't mean you can't do it today for you. Okay? Anyway, we'll talk more on the subjects because I think it's very important to understand, that abusers don't just come from nowhere. They don't come from loving homes. They don't come from a home where they're respected and treated like they're valuable and they're loved. It's when you have this understanding that you can have compassion. I'm not looking for, have pity on them, but empathy. Understand where this person is coming from. Because as they were going through the documentary, you could see the shame in their eyes. You could see the shame, that they're so ashamed of who they are, of what they are. Anyway, my darlings, hopefully this has shed a little bit of light on what you've been through. But if not, there'll be plenty more videos. So keep listening. Sometimes listening to the same video a few times can, spark that tiny little, can flicker, and that little plant will start to grow. But, that seed of love that's been planted that will help you release this anger and this resentment and the guilt. Because many times we feel guilty that we've done something wrong, that we've deserved this treatment. And I can promise you as a child, you've done nothing. I promise. Okay, my darlings. Remember to click like and subscribe below for more videos and so you don't miss the next message. And I'll see you in the next video, okay? Bye for now.